To Thailand now, where at least 13 people have been killed after a boat capsized after hitting a bridge in the central Thai city of Ayutthaya. According to local media, one child was among those killed and nearly a dozen are missing.
Nearly a week after a ceasefire began, airstrikes on a rebel-held area of Aleppo. But it was this attack on Saturday that may have pushed the truce to the brink of collapse. A series of U.S. airstrikes in the eastern city of Deir al-Zur that left dozens of Syrian government soldiers dead. The Pentagon said in a statement, "If we mistakenly struck a Syrian military position, we regret doing so, especially the loss of lives." The coalition aircraft conducting the mission believed they were striking ISIL forces. The Syrian government said more than 80 soldiers were killed and called the attack deliberate. Both Syria and Russia accused the U.S. of underhanded support for ISIL and other terror groups fighting the Syrian government.
This hostile act from the U.S. is a very serious attack against Syria and its army, and it's crystal clear evidence of the support by the United States and their allies to the Daesh organization and other terrorist armed groups.
It is quite significant and frankly suspicious that the United States chose to conduct this particular airstrike at this time. After all, they did nothing when ISIL was advancing on Palmyra. ISIL made a 100-mile march without being attacked by the coalition.
The suggestion that the U.S. would cooperate with ISIL angered the U.S. ambassador to the United Nations.
The Russian spokesperson, I believe, came out and thought somehow we were complicit in even trying to protect ISIL. Really? American citizens have been beheaded by this group. We are leading a 67-country coalition to destroy this group.
And now Moscow continues to step up its war of words with Washington. It said the US-led airstrikes on the Syrian army threatened the US-Russian ceasefire. Russia's foreign ministry has urged Washington to exert pressure on the illegal armed groups under its patronage to implement the ceasefire plan unconditionally. It added that otherwise the implementation of the entire package of the US-Russian accords reached in Geneva on September the 9th may be jeopardized.
U.S. troops committed another hostile action against my country yesterday when 5 war planes attacked positions of the Syrian army, leading to death and injuries within the Syrian army. We have to know that ISIL immediately after this attack attacked the area which had been attacked by U.S. troops hours before. This proves clearly the link between U.S. troops and ISIL. And the Americans said the attack was just an error. This is clearly a lie.
It's an American collusion with the Islamic State group. They are trying to help ISIL get control of the areas controlled by the Syrian army.
The United States had a spoiled child, which is Israel, and now they have another one. It is the ISIL. It was clear from the first day when they came to fight terrorism. The U.S. is a grand supporter of terrorism, and yesterday's attack was not an error.
I think such an incident could be looked at as an examination of how serious Syria and Russia are in fighting terrorism. I think it was clear that Syria is very serious when it asked for the Russian support in hitting Islamic State group camps. Another important thing I want to highlight is that the United States want the IS group to expand on the Syrian-Iraqi border in order to separate both countries from each other.
And Australia's Department of Defence has confirmed that its aircraft was involved in US-led airstrikes in Syria. The Defense Department offered its condolences to the family members of the killed and wounded and assured a full cooperation in the review of the incident. The aircraft were conducting airstrikes in eastern Syria against what was believed to be an ISIL fighting position, and bombing ceased immediately when Russia said the targets may have been Syrian military personnel. The Defense Department also maintained that Australia would never intentionally target a known Syrian military unit or actively support ISIL.